Family SOPs. SOP stands for Standard Operating Procedures. And being how we striving to turn our last name into an asset, we trying to structure our family like a business. It's necessary that we have a standard operating procedures. That way we all know, how to function. So what I want to do is shout out the Wall Street Trapper. And the reason being is because these slides that you're going to see, they come from a booklet that I was given when I went to the recession tour, the Wall Street Trapper's Wealth Map. So all salutations to him. Family mission statement. Understand that the goal is for us to turn our last name into an asset. And by having a family mission statement, we will be working on the right path and laying down a foundation. The family is a business. All great businesses have a mission statement. It is an expression of the purpose, vision, values, and goals for the family. Common vision, family values. These are the two subsectors that every mission statement must have, right? So your common vision speaks to the future on how we plan to achieve our goals, right? So we know that that's important. Family values, honesty, integrity, family time, forgiveness. We'll explain why in the next slide. Now, we know that the family values install the core principles that the family is structured around, i.e. our foundation. Our family mission statement will serve as our foundation. So it's important that we make sure we speak to the future, and it's important that the values is actually worth something. So as we move on into the next slide, I'm going to get into one of the biggest companies that we know, which is Apple. And we're going to look into their mission statement so we can understand how, as a family, we should be looking to structure our family mission statement. So as we get into it, matter of fact, let's just get straight into it. So as you read along with me, Apple's mission statement is to bring the best user experience to customers through innovative hardware, software, and services. Now, when you think about it, it's broad, but it is specific because we know and understand that Apple has products that us as consumers have to use, right? And every time we use it, it's an experience. Now, you either can have a good experience or a bad experience, right? Depending on what? The quality of your phone, right? So what did they do? They turned the phone into a computer. They turned the phone into a camera, right? They turned the phone into a device so you can see face to face with someone on the other line. So they have enhanced the user experience. This is the reason why they got the blue text messages. You know, if you got an Apple phone and somebody texts you and it ain't blue, you know they ain't got an Apple phone. You know they ain't part of this. You know they can't send those celebration confettis. They can't send the question marks and certain replies, right? They don't have access to this, right? So this enhances, right? What they said, bring the best user experience, best enhance, right? Same word. So this is what they're actually doing with their products. We know their products are innovative because if you grew up when I grew up in the early 2000s, you know, we was just getting out of the flip phone stage. Maybe Nextel had the chirps that was popping or the Blackberries, right? So we know they got innovative hardware. We know their software is innovative, right? Because we can FaceTime somebody, right? We got 1 million pictures in our phone, right? They got a iCloud service that we can, save all our stuff on, right? And then in terms of the services, we know and understand that when we walk into an Apple store, we know we at an Apple store. When you walk into the Apple store, it don't feel like nothing else. That's part of their services, right? So now let's look on and read along to their vision statement. Their vision statement is to make the best products on earth and to leave the world better than we found it. To make the best products on earth and leave the world better than we found it. So between their mission statement and their vision statement, we know what their vision is. We can actually visualize the world being a better place, right? Based upon iPhone and their products being the best. And we can envision what the world will look like in terms of if Apple never did come on the scene with the iPhone or the products that they got, the Apple Watch and whatnot. So their mission statement is clear. Their vision statement is clear. We know what their goals are to bring the best user experience to customers. And that's exactly what we got to do. We got to figure out what is our mission? What is our goals? You know what I'm saying? What do we want to accomplish in the future? And we're going to do that by first establishing these family values. Okay, so as we dive into these family values, we know and understand that at the top of the list is honesty, right? Now, why is honesty important? It's important first and foremost for us to be honest with ourselves, but also as a group, right? Just because somebody is your dad or your mom or, your kid doesn't mean that you got to defend them, especially if they're wrong. We know that the only way we're going to move forward is if we build a strong foundation of trust, right? We got to be able to trust in one another. So the way to do that is to not only be honest with yourself, but for us to be honest with each other as a whole, So when somebody's wrong as a group, we need to let them know they're wrong. And ain't nothing wrong with being wrong, which leads to the next category, which is integrity, right? Being honest is a part of, having integrity. So we dealing with self-awareness, being aware. And for me, when I look at integrity, I'm looking at it as class. If we're turning our last name into an asset, we got to move a certain way. We got to be proud. There has to be something that we stand there for. And it has to be a stamp on us that people can notice. And by the people, I mean first within us, right? We got to notice it amongst ourselves. We got to notice that as a family, we have changed. Speaking of family time, right? Let's get into family time. Why is family time so important? Family time is important because, one, the word time is there, and we never know how much time each of us have, right? So for us to be able to establish as many memories as possible, this is important. This is very important. So I love when we all meet up in August, I love that, we celebrating the life of my mom, but realistically, we celebrating each other. We celebrating our growth and development by spending family time with one another. And lastly, but not the least, might be just as important as honesty, which is forgiveness. We have to be forgiven towards one another. We have to show forgiveness. None of us is perfect. We all gonna make mistakes. We all make mistakes in our own lives. So if we turning our last name into an asset, we structuring, not structuring, we restructuring our family and structuring it as a business. We know that there's gonna be some ups and downs. We know that people gonna make mistakes, but we gotta be able to forgive each other. We human, man. Things happen. We human and things happen, right? Okay, so the values represented 1/4 of what our mission statement is actually going to be. Now, as you've seen with the example of Apple, the mission statement, it don't got to be long, Now, theirs is a business, so ours could be longer. It could be a paragraph, So I'm thinking that what we're going to do is we're going to take what we just wrote down from the values. We could turn that into one sentence. We could turn a vision into one sentence. We could turn our purpose into one sentence. And we could turn our goals into one sentence. And there you have it. We got the foundation of our mission statement. Now, just because we started off with this mission statement in the year 2023 doesn't mean that in the year 2033 that there's adjustment that needs to be made, right? Maybe something has changed in terms of what our mission is, right? Maybe we need to put philanthropy in there, right? Maybe we need to put, some form of a mandatory education that everybody in the family must have, which is cool. So this isn't solid. We can add on to this, so we see it all the time. We see a building that is built, the foundation is intact, but as time goes by, what do? They make improvements on it, right? They change things up. The landscape changes. So we're looking into this, we're looking to, making an adjustment 10 years from now. So whatever we decide this year as our mission statement, this is going to be our mission statement for the next 10 years. And maybe we accomplish everything that we had in our mission statement and we got to broaden it. And we'll do that in the year 2033, which is a good thing for us. That means we're actually moving forward. We're making progress, right? And not only should investing horizon be in terms of 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, right? So should our growth and development of everything that we're establishing here as a family. right? So this is why I say, like, let's tap back into this in 10 years, and maybe even in 5 years. Maybe 5 years from now we could just tap into it, like, yeah, everybody's still cool with the mission statement. We'd be like, thumbs up. I don't think nothing needs to change. Okay, cool. Then we'll revisit it in 10 years. Now, we know that our family wealth should always be a long-term vision, So we got to look at ourselves in terms of generations. And this plays a little bit into the role of what I was speaking about and how we going to manage the trust fund. Every generation, they're going to get half, and then the other half is going to get reinvested, right? But if we're looking at everything in terms of a 20-year fold, a 50-year fold, a 100-year fold, right? Just imagine all of the things that we're going to be able to accomplish. Remember, we try and turn our last name into an asset. You know and understand that Apple is already planning on what they're going to do 20 years from now. They know, they're going to have facilities that are ran by only solar panels, right? They're already preparing for this. They probably preparing for what they're going to do 50 years from now, right? How they going to have equipment on spaceships or whatnot. I don't know. I'm just, just laying out the fact that they're looking down the road. And you could go back 50 years and look at companies like Coca-Cola. You could look at companies that been around, right? What are we in 2020? So that means 1970. There's a whole bunch of businesses that been around since the 70s. Some that probably been around since the 50s, right? And the reason is because they have a long-term vision. So I want us to understand that everything ain't going to happen in year one, right? The only thing I want for us to happen in year one is for us to open our minds and understand that this is actually possible. We're just getting information. So last year was your first year hearing about a trust fund. Yeah, we 1 year in and we didn't even establish a trust fund yet. That's okay. We not counting time, you know what I'm saying? But we're just utilizing time as a tool to keep us pushing forward. So the first year we learned about something. We learned about a trust fund. We learned that as a family we could come together and meet up in a town that is not our hometown, right? And have a good time, right? And a good time, that family time, right? Create memories. We know and understand that in year 2 we was able to take it to another town. And we're looking to take it, somewhere tropical in year 3. These are all short-term goals. Now, clearly, from the time we first built on a trust fund, we not rich yet. We ain't wealthy yet. That's cool. We might not start our financial journey as a whole until year 5, and that's okay. Because after year 5, there's year 10. And even within those 10 years, we still not technically in this first generational stage of ours. So I want everybody mind frame to be long-term. We 20 years in on this. You know what I'm saying? That's the first accomplishment. Then we go 50, then we go 100. Clearly, some of us not going to live to see that third generation, but that's cool. The baby's going to be here, though, right? We are the babies of 3 or 4 generations, before us. So it all matters. And I just want everybody to be aware that this ain't a race. This is a marathon. You know what I'm saying? This is a marathon. This is not a race. This is a marathon. And we're going to finish. We're going to cross that line. And then we're going to run another lap. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't going to stop. There's levels. We're going to level up. All right. Now, quarterly financial meetings. The reason why I brought up quarterly financial meetings is because as a family, we need to have them, right? Businesses have quarterly financial meetings. This is how they tap into one another and make sure that they're moving in accordance to whatever their plan is, right? So we will have more in-depth analysis on the family vision, right? We want to make sure that we're moving in unison with whatever our vision is. Family finances. We want to make sure that each of us as a household is doing whatever it is that we need to do, right? Maybe we got information that can help us, right? Just recently, Sharivian shared that if you got food stamps, you got your EBT card, you and all of your children can get a free passport, right? You can get a waiver and you could get your passport for free, you and your kids. That is part of our family finances, right? Because if we want to go abroad as a family, we all going to need a passport. We know passports cost money, so we could get this for free. This is why we need to have these quarterly meetings, so each of us could share information. We could bounce ideas and information off one another. We need to touch on what our goals are, that we're working towards this quarter. Because remember, like I said, we're breaking this down into different time frames. So we got the 1 year, the 5 year, 10 year horizons, right? But we also gonna have 3 month horizons, 6 month horizons, right? So that's what these quarterly financial meetings will touch on. Another thing they're going to touch on is how can we reduce spending and invest more. This is very important. So maybe we got a tool that is working for one of us as an individual, and we share that with the group. And lastly, what knowledge are we adding on? Informative capital. And, that plays a role into, just the information. So quarterly financial meetings is something that we're striving to have, and we're going to do them on the last Sunday of every month. That's good, man. We headed in the right direction, most definitely. Now, as far as monthly financial meetings, your monthly financial meetings should be within your own household, right? At some point in the future, maybe when we tap into that first generation, we as a family business will have monthly financial meetings. But for now, we're gonna keep it quarterly. And like I said, we could touch bases on this in year 10. But your monthly financial meetings should be held within your household, with you and your kids, right, and your family, because it's important that you discuss where you at the each event at the end of each month or the beginning of each month. You talk about the month before. It's important so that you know where you at. You know if you behind. So now when we get to this quarterly meeting with the family, you already know where you at, because every month you and your family is having, a financial meeting. It's cool to point out where did you go wrong, you know what I'm saying? And analyze also what did y'all do right. That's important, you know what I'm saying? Because we know that history repeats itself, but history ain't gonna repeat itself if we know we went wrong. We ain't gonna make that decision. Part of it, we ain't gonna make that mistake again. What adjustments need to be made? And also, we want to hear all parties with no emotion, right? No justifying. What that means is somebody within your household, you might got a 14-year-old or 15-year-old. They might have a suggestion. Let's hear them out. You know what I'm saying? We don't want nobody to feel like they're not worthy of adding on information. Everybody needs to have a voice at these monthly financial meetings. And what I did was I provided a formula of your freedom price, right? So this is something that, maybe you could build on every month, where you guys are at with your freedom price, right? So as we look over what our freedom price is, how much we make minus how much it costs us to live, right? Plus half of our second job or a side hustle, which we all need. And then we take that 3% inflation, times that by 2.5, and that's how much is our freedom price, man. We know that's our freedom price. So I gave you the formulas, here with this paper. You could print it out, and you should already have it. And if you having any problems with that, just get in touch with me, and I'll help you out. Now, identifying our household income. This plays a role with the freedom price. We have to know and understand what a household income is in order for us to, efficiently move towards our freedom price, right? So, we need an income statement, right? Which is our revenue, job, side hustle, business, other. Add that up. Minus the expenses, rent, mortgage, utility, loans. Whatever the total is, that's our net income, right? And I put together a form so that you could fill that out and you could find that out. And understand that your net income, your monthly income, these are things that's important for us to know. Because remember, we're moving in the direction of a Fortune 500 company. We ain't there yet. That's cool. Let's say we Fortune 1. We a Fortune 1 company right now. But in order to become a Fortune 500 company, you got to be a Fortune 1 company at first, So that's where we at, which is cool. So as long as we begin, remember, in year 1, we're just understanding, right? Most of us don't know what our total net income is. Most of us don't know how much money we spend every month. We know we got rent, we know we got bills, but we don't know the exact number. We want to get to a point where if I say, how much money you spend in May, you should be able to tell me how much you and your household is spending in the month of May, because it may be different from the month of July. And if that's the case, then whatever month is lower, we need to figure out what we could do to, match that. So pretty much that is the family standard operating procedures. That's the presentation. If you got any questions whatsoever, feel free to ask. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is for us. We building our legacy, and we starting here, So I got the meeting notes And I put this in here just in case you want to, print it out. Maybe you lost the packet that I gave you. But all in all, that's the family, SOPs, man. That's our family SOPs. And definitely look forward to seeing y'all at the next family event and hearing from y'all during our quarterly meeting, our next one. And we, like I said, man, we on the right path, man. So I love all y'all. Peace.